I would just write. And someone suggested to me that if I really wanted to be a successful speaker, that I needed to be a professional writer, and that really I needed to have a book and write a book. And so I took that suggestion to heart and thought, if I really wanted to be a recognized bona fide speaker, I probably needed to have some writing credentials. And so I went through the process of learning about different writing opportunities and learning the writing craft. And it's funny because I did not go to college to get a degree in writing. I didn't really study English more than the required courses for graduation. I'd never really held positions where writing was critical. And so, on one level, my mind wanted to convince myself that I was not really a writer, that I was an imposter, that I really wasn't qualified to do this.
And isn't that one of the signs of people who have low self-esteem, that thinking that they are not qualified and that they are an imposter when they really do have credentials?
Oh, absolutely. Or thinking that they're not qualified and cannot themselves earn the credentials, right? So it kind of works both ways. Not only, oftentimes people with low self-esteem feel like an imposter because they don't have the credential, but they also don't think they can develop the credential. And that's one of the bullets that I mentioned on the slide where we were looking at the benefits of confidence, is the ability to pursue and build skills, right? So, yeah, great example. And so I studied the writing craft, and I took the initiative. I did the footwork and the legwork, and I started submitting stories and articles and book proposals. And I found that Chicken Soup for the Soul was a really great venue for me. And they like my writing, and I like writing for Chicken Soup for the Soul. And so I found a little niche, a little writing niche for myself, and have become a regular story contributor for Chicken Soup for the Soul. And now I'm doing something that I never would have thought possible or dreamed I was capable of had I not experienced the process of developing my own confidence and self-esteem.
Good. That's another excellent example.
Yes, and then also, you're very familiar with my experience the last couple years in the world of art. Art is just one of those areas that I love. I love the whole creative aspect of art. I knew that I didn't really have the talent or the skill for painting, oil painting, or watercolors, or even for drawing. But I had the passion, I had the God-given desire to do some art, and I was able to research and do the research that I needed to educate myself about art styles, the color of art, layout, design, etc. And I found that I was actually a pretty good mixed media artist. And, with your encouragement, I entered a couple of local art competitions and was shocked when I took home some blue ribbons, which are first place ribbons. And you remember I would come home and I would, with this ribbon in my hand, giggling and laughing, and I would say, I feel like an imposter, I feel like a fraud, I'm not really an artist. But what I have learned is that because I have worked hard at developing my confidence, I'm learning that there's not much that I can't do if I'm willing to take the time to learn how to do it. If I'm willing to learn the skills, to learn the techniques, to learn the craft and apply myself in that way, and find the niche, find where my God-given talents fit best, then I can be successful. I think just another great example.
Yes, and I was not surprised at all when you came home with those awards, but because I saw your inborn talent mixed with your desire and your God-given spark of energy and inspiration, and the mixture of all that put together with that confidence that you can do things that you set your mind to do. And I was not surprised at all when you came home with some, and this wasn't just the little local club down the street, folks. This was statewide competitions. So she was up against some of the best and did very well. So
I did.
Very proud
Thank
of
you
you
for that.
doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, I would liken that experience to my experience producing and recording my first CD. You know, thankfully, God gave me the gift of voice and of song, and thankfully, God gave me a passion to write my own music. And you know, there was a time in my life before I knew you where that was just so important to me, and I had no idea how to go about doing this, but I had the confidence that I needed to reach out to the right people who could help me pull together a project like this, who could help me fund the project, who could put me in touch with the right people. That's where the social skills were so valuable, right? Again, one of the benefits I mentioned earlier is the social skills that come from having confidence, and even being able to get past constructive criticism or constructive feedback, or feedback that sort of stung a little bit, you know. I remember on my first CD, the gentleman who produced it is an amazing musician and songwriter himself, and I remember feeling a little slighted when he gave me some constructive feedback, and his feedback was, you know, Kristen, your guitar playing just really isn't up to par or good enough to be on a professionally recorded CD, so I'm going to have someone play your guitar for you, but your voice is spot on, so you're going to sing. And he was right. You know, really he was right, but my ego and my pride took a little blow there, and I thought, what does he mean I'm not good enough to play? But I had the confidence to know that, you know, this project was bigger than that. It was bigger than me. And with God's help, I was going to get it produced. And if that meant I had to make some sacrifices and not participate in the way I wanted to, that was okay. You know, again, one of the benefits I showed on the earlier slide was overcoming setbacks, right? And so this was a great example where I faced a few setbacks, felt like I needed to approach the project a little differently, was still able to get it done. Not once did I think, I can't do this. And again, that's because of the confidence that I had developed that allowed me to do that. And since then, I've done a couple of others, including the really great project that I got to work on with you on your amazing CD.
Yes, that was amazing. Yes, and for those of you who are listening, the name of the CD was called Amazing. Little inside humor there. Yeah.
Yes. And then finally, you know, I would just add, my journey really began, you know, my journey began when I became a Christian. My journey in discovering and developing confidence and self-esteem began when I became a Christian. And it began at that time because someone had said to me, you know, Kristen, I wish you could learn to see yourself as God sees you, because you're just so remarkable. And I didn't know what that meant. I was a new Christian in terms of my walk. I was 35 years old when I came into my relationship with Christ, and I didn't know what that meant, to see myself as God sees me. And so I started this journey of discovery to try to find out, you know, what does that mean, to see myself as God sees me? And it was an amazing journey, and it was the journey that allowed me to understand the role that I play in God's kingdom, and how He alone equips me and empowers me, and how with His help I can do all things, including, you know, finding a new job after being laid off, including writing for a internationally known publication like Chicken Soup for the Soul, including, you know, becoming an award-winning mixed media artist, including producing and recording my first CD, and including, you know, finding the man of my dreams, which I say not only for your benefit because, because you're interviewing me, but I say that because it's true. And it's amazing the number of women who ask me, how did I get so lucky finding my amazing husband? And, you know, I'm just reminded to that time in my life in my divorce after my first marriage ended, when I was going through this journey, that was the time I started discovering who I am and whose I am. And that was the time I started to see that I am becoming transformed into Christ-likeness, and I am developing his mindsets, and I will become, with his help, the woman who is deserving of the most amazing and honorable and righteous man, the perfect mate for me. And I will be the helper that he needs. And having that confidence to trust in God to deliver and to not settle and to not force a solution in the midst of my singleness, and to stay firm and believe fully in the promise, his promise of not only eternal life but also abundant life, which means experiencing great victories here while we're alive on earth, is what allowed me to be patient and wait for you, my love. And, you know, here you and I, we just celebrated our 7th wedding anniversary, what, 2 weeks ago? And that is just so exciting. And, you know, these are all victories. These are all ways that I can demonstrate and show. These are proof points of how improved confidence and self-esteem has allowed me to be more successful in all areas of my life.
Mm-hmm. Yes, those are great examples, and I will just add to that last one there, that one of the things that attracted me to you was your confidence and your ability to just kind of step forward and do some things. You had you know, several of the things that you listed here you were either in the midst of doing or had already accomplished before we were married, and some of them you've done since that time. But one of the things that, I guess speaking from a man's point of view, most men anyway, I would say most men do not want a woman who is mousy and has low self-esteem and doesn't have confidence, and most men want a woman who has the confidence that to know what she wants and to accomplish what she wants to do in this world, and to know who she is and to know whose she is. And that was another thing, again, that attracted me to you, was that you know both who you are and whose you are in Christ, and that was really important to me. So I'd just like to put a little vote of confidence there on your examples of confidence.
Oh, thank you.